So there you go. Cheers, Matt. Appreciate that.
You're welcome, buddy.
So obviously, let's show everybody now on a recording. So we've got these lows here, equal lows there, and then obviously that's taken by this sort of big push down here. So somewhere in this price action here is the cause of what breaks the lows to the left here. So if we drop down the time frame, obviously I'll bar replay it here. And I believe this is news anyway, so it's real easy to spot. Obviously, it's huge. So basically, we've got this big imbalance here, huge. It's news. I believe that's Wednesday, so FOMC maybe. So from this point, I would personally just be marking, going, I've got an imbalance there, set an alert, and wait for price to come back and touch into that somewhere in there. I mean, it might be just short, it might be just over, but in and around that, around about here. With it being news, it tends to just be a bit shy sometimes. So if it's big news, just set it a touch lower. But for the example, it's fine. And me. So I'll go to the 5 minute because I don't know how long it takes to come back. So for now, first imbalance fill, we are just marking the imbalance, waiting for price to come back, and then we'll be waiting for further confirmations. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long.
It's all right. It's quite therapeutic watching it. It's like one of those slow TV programs, isn't it? You go sometimes like the
Yeah.
canal boat or that train going through the Arctic.
So I might turn to the 15 just to. We should take ages. Does anyone mind if I just skip it and then bar replay back? Because it's going
No,
to
it's cool, mate.
take forever. So obviously here. Yep. So it's come within a pip or so of the imbalance. Like I said, it might just be about short, but it's about there. So let's say you've set a alert just below, it's just pinged off. We know to the left that the imbalance that we've got marked here is the one that's caused the break of a major low. So obviously 4 hour upwards time frame, big low. Did a lot of things. Now that we've all but filled this, we're now just waiting. We're going to come back on the screen on the 1 minute and look for a 1 minute change of character. So we would be here by the looks of it. So mark that one.
I think I've just stuffed out exactly what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're marking out areas for it to come back up to, and just waiting for a reaction out of it.
yeah. So
Which
basically, yeah.
which
So the
that
first, the
is
first.
the yeah. Go on.
I was just going to say the first touch is always. This is why I always wait for a change of character because
Yeah, yeah,
this could pull back. That could fill that imbalance where it has. It could come down to here
yeah,
and just trend upwards. Yeah.
yeah.
This is why I always wait for a break below the 1 minute because
Yeah,
then we get
more confirmation.
yeah. Well, once we get the break, it's a confirmation that we might actually turn around. So and then generally is not always true, obviously, but generally more often than not, if we get a break of structure, price wants to come back and mitigate something
Yeah,
somewhere up here, basically, which is why. So when I'm drawing my lines, often on my markups, if I draw this, obviously it broke below the low, I'll often draw an angle back somewhere high up in here before it then continues down.
yeah,
So this is your change. This is the change of character low. Obviously, once it
yeah.
takes it, I want it to come back and mitigate into my entry, which is
That
obviously
was that to me. So when that's just come up that high, and you said, and that was the cause of it to change.
yeah,
That now I know exactly what you mean now. So
yeah,
that's now just confirms what I was trying to figure out. So yeah, no, nice one. Thanks for that, mate.
no worries, mate. And then obviously, so obviously green line's my 1 minute low, so
Yeah.
I'll delete these as well. And then obviously it does it there. So I mean, it's pretty obvious where the imbalance is going to be in this one. Quarter
So
past
you
two.
wouldn't so you wouldn't be looking at that higher imbalance then that one.
Well, I'll break it down now, mate, and I'll
Okay.
see what I think. So
Okay.
sometimes it'll be just above. It depends what's. This is why I jump on the seconds chart because there might be a little tiny imbalance just above this little cluster here. Although it looks like that about fills everything in it. So, but like the 1 minute's a good place to start. Like if you're fairly comfortable, but more often than not now, I literally jump straight into the 10 second because it's often not too low a time frame that it's too gappy and you can't see anything, and it's close to the 5, which is probably my favorite time frame. But your feed gets a bit shitty, so I often start at the 10, mate, 10 second. So obviously huge imbalance here. Um, so first sort of point of entry would be possibly this. We've possibly got some up here, some imbalance. Possibly imbalance there. Maybe even a touch there. Uh, look on the 5 second. We've possibly got up here, mate. Possibly there, actually. Don't really. I don't think this is possibly a good. It's a good looking setup, but this doesn't. It doesn't do anything. So we get a significant-ish pullback before it continues. So I'd write this off, I think. Whereas this is huge. So again, this starts to pull back before it big drops. So I would maybe split my risk on these two. Um, one of them two. That one in the middle's not of interest. That one's massive. That one's the highest. So I would stick. I mean, if you're risking 1%, usually stick half on each of them. Just trying to see if these line up with anything else. So this sort of lines up with this low here because this could be where the last sort of properly bought up before the big sell, before the news. But I mean, with this being so big, I would say it's going to be here somewhere. Um, but yeah, obviously because it's broken the 1 minute low now. Yeah, because that's broken the 1 minute low. That would be confirmation of entry once it closes below this. So we will stick on the 5 minute. 2.5 pips. Let's go to 3 because AU would be close for good spreads. And then we've got say 2.5, just to be nice and roundish, something like that. 2.6. The Obviously we've got trend lines here, so possible targets would be these imbalances in here that I had marked. I'll leave that one for now, just because once this one loses, I'll drag that one down. But yeah, obviously, so it's filled the first imbalance, it's broken a low, and then hopefully we want it to come back, tap one of these, and then continue down. Obviously, it's taken a major low here, so higher time frame is breaking to the downside, so bearish. So higher time frame is bearish. Price comes back up. We want to then start seeing breaks to the downside, which we've had, to continue down. And then obviously I'll press play and we'll see what we get. Yeah, that's the right one. Creates another touch on the trend line. Smashes in imbalances.
Nice.
So 1 to 30 just shy of. Yeah,
How
29.
long was that?
Before I tell you how long it is, right?
Okay.
I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
Does it matter?
Um,
I don't mean that in like a dickheadish asshole way. What I mean is if you're in a trade 1 day or 3 days.
well, the only reason I was asking because obviously sometimes when I've put stuff in, like, people say, well, like, would you hold it for a month? Like,
Yeah,
because I'm like, well, at the moment, probably not, but
yeah,
in the future, I think when I'm quite profitable,
yeah,
I would hold it, yeah.
yeah,
Because obviously I could get a 150 to 1 in like a month possibly. Some of those AU trades that I've marked up have gone like massive. I think in like 80 days I made like
yeah,
250% off those.
yeah. So
Um, but
yeah, yeah. I mean
it
that's all. That's great. I really hope you do it. But
yeah,
what like the time it takes is almost irrelevant. So
yes,
obviously we've had a trend line as a target here. So this might have taken 3 days. I mean, just looking at it, I'm sure it took a few days. So 1, 2, possibly closer to 2 days. But if we've got a target, as long as we're holding out for that
yeah,
target, that's what we're actually doing.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
if you catch these trades and you want to hold for a month, it might take a month for the target to be hit, but you need a target is the
fine,
important part.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
and then obviously if you've got your target, this is what I meant when I said does it matter? I don't mean
yeah,
like it don't matter because if it takes 3 days or 3 weeks, if you've got your target, the only thing that changes is you'll maybe check the screen a few more times in between, but
yeah.
looking at it doesn't change the outcome. So as long as you've set a target and then you just leave it alone to do its thing,
Have you have
it
you
really it
have
really
you
don't
done
matter
any
sort of thing.
have you done any trades like for 3 weeks yet, do you think?
Uh, no, not recently. I did a long time ago, but I'm sort of away from me 4:15 1 at the minute, so
Yeah.
I'm more doing maybe 2 or 3 days sort of thing. So
Yeah, so your emotions are like quite normal after that time, man.
yeah, to be
Yeah,
fair, mate, like
yeah,
I mean, because obviously I set pendings as well, so
yeah,
like I often don't realize I'm even in a trade for an hour or two, and then I sort of like, because you go about your day, I forget a minute, and then I stop checking it, and I go, oh fucking hell, someone's just sent a message in the group and gone, or posted about, let's say, AU or whatever. Go, oh yeah, I'm in that. Do you know, you
Hmm.
sort of like, because as I was just saying before, like when you're in it and you're going about your day or whatever, looking at it doesn't change anything.
No, that's correct.
Unless you look at it and then you start freaking out and interfere, which is not part of your strategy. So you, I mean, it takes a long time to get there and a lot of sort of discipline. I guess, because I mean, I was getting into trades and before I was getting into them, I would tell myself, like, right, you're not interfering in this one, obviously early on, because I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
I was making these rules or telling myself these things beforehand, so I wasn't making decisions while I was in the trade because I mean, it's stressful. You know, we make bad decisions under stress.
yeah.
So if I mean, if I wasn't saying to myself, you're not touching this trade until it either stop losses or take a profit. As soon as you see one big green candle, you're going to shit your pants, close a trade.
Yeah, no.
You
We've
know,
all done it.
but this candle here, that fair sort of like big green candle there, like I mean, you'd proper shit your pants if you were stood watching it. So,
I know, I know.
but then if you'd have closed it out on that green candle, or let's say halfway up, you've took a 3 to 1, or you can let it do its thing, and you can aim for 30 to 1. You know?
Do you know what? There's been actually like a few times when I have closed a trade because of that, and you think, "Fuck, it's going to come back up," and
Mm.
then I've gone like, "Do you know what? If I just stuck with my analysis, then
Mm.
it would have been okay." And it's come out like I've had like 7, 10s, 15 to 1s and everything,
Yeah,
and I should have just stuck it out, and I would have been fine. But you just go, "Oh shit, it's going to reverse it."
yeah,
I think and again for me, it was trying to pass the challenges. I think.
You can
yeah,
see that that green candle up is probably
Hmm.
just on a lower time frame, taking another imbalance.
yeah. Oh, absolutely, mate.
It's
Yeah, it's
just the
probably
same
a
pattern
second
repeated,
entry.
so you know
Yeah,
what it's doing.
yeah,
I know that. Listen to me, the expert. But you know, but you know what it's doing. Yeah, there's a logic to it, which is it's just a smaller version of this of the higher time frame
yeah,
setup, really.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think that like these things happen to scare people out of trades as well. So obviously, we know
Yeah,
that the banks need orders to be able to get their orders filled, basically. So impulsive up candles in a down move will make people drop out. So
right.
making orders free possibly. Obviously,
Yeah, so that's more
that's all
liquidity they can
guesswork.
pick up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all guesswork from me, but it sort of makes sense as well. You know
yeah, it
that
does. Yeah,
they're trying to make orders in their favor, so they'll scare people out of theirs to free some up or whatever. And obviously, I mean, this goes way further, so 50 odd R thereabouts. Um, but I mean, holding something like that's not wasn't wildly out of the question as well because obviously higher time frame we are heavily bearish. So obviously, if we go for obviously we had the trend line as a target up there, but if we let's say go on the daily, so we've taken that, so somewhere in there would have been first target, and we might be targeting something down here now. So
Yeah, I think I've got a 415 1 potential setup, like even lower down.
yeah,
Like I think it's dropping like a lot lower, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. It's I don't really know about AU at the minute. I know obviously it's heavily bearish, but
I think that's the area down there. So where
yeah,
like that low, somewhere in that low area,
yeah,
that's where I think it's heading for.
yeah, yeah. Obviously, this is the next area it's got to deal with.
Break.
So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, whether it breaks or not is a different story, obviously. But
exactly. But yeah,
yeah,
that's my point of interest where it's potentially heading to before it starts. I don't know, maybe changing direction again
yeah.
to be bullish, but you just don't know.
No, no, I think definitely sells, mate, overall.
Yeah,
But like I say, we're gonna get we're going to get pullbacks from somewhere in here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I don't see any other way it's going.
Nice,
I
well,
don't.
thanks for that, mate.
No, no
That
worries,
helps
mate.
me out a hell of a lot just then.
No worries, mate. So
I that's a lot of that's just clicked. Like, and I think that's where I was getting so far behind, and I was like, but now I've asked it, I can actually understand it a lot more now.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've said it before, mate. I don't think you're behind. I think you're just not organising what the process
Yeah,
the right way. Um,
that'll help with my new trading plan
well,
anyway.
well, this is the thing. This is why I say to journal, and then
Yeah,
obviously you'll build a training plan from that, and then you will, when you keep journaling, you'll notice different things, and you'll adapt your trading plan even more. So it's like an evolving,
yeah, I
like
know.
your trading plans. Do you know do you know like where from like that image where there's like a fish and then it turns into like a monkey and like the
It turns
evolution.
into like a
And
guppy or like a
yeah,
lizard, a mud skipper, and then it goes up into a
eventually it turns
human.
into human. Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's like your training plan. It's
yeah.
dog shit at the beginning because you sort of put piecing it together and eventually you've got like a sophisticated.
It's just a load of atoms flying around.
Yeah, yeah, basically, yeah. But like I say, it evolves until it really makes sense. It becomes easy, and then like I mean, it's hard really because you spend all this time writing it, and then once you get there, you just stop needing it. But you've I really believe you've just got to do it. Like
Yeah,
you need to do it. I don't, and I would say that to anybody. I needed to do it because why not? Why not get your rules and your processes written down? You know, and it should almost be let's say you banged your head at work, whatever, and you forgot how to trade. You should almost be able to read that and then sort of figure it out again. Do you know what I mean? So it needs to make full sense to you and maybe someone else, even if someone else who's not very good with trading should be able to read it almost and try and figure it out. You know? But yeah, journaling and your trading plan, mate, is super important.
yeah. It's basically just writing out instructions, really, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah,
you're putting something together, obviously, that when they're like manufacturing it, they're writing up the instructions for you, and
yeah,
they're going over it and evolving the instructions until it's perfect for you
yeah, yeah, yeah,
just to read it and just do it.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they'll have prototypes and everything, mate. The first ones are usually improved with later models and things like that. So your trading plan won't be any different. So
Thing that helped me out, Stephen, was just looking at the market as in like it takes, creates, and balances.
yeah,
Yeah, that
As
was
soon as I got my head around that, it sort of
yeah.
clicked a bit better for me.
Mm. It was one thing which I noticed. Like a lot of the supply and demand like guys like doing it, I was like, fucking hell, like what am I missing here? And then now, like just from asking that question, it's literally just answered so much for me. So now I can, because I was now starting to get back onto the 1 minute change of characters and everything. I was like, yeah, but why is it reacting there? Like why, why what is the cause of that and stuff?
yeah,
And that was now I've just like asked that, I can actually put that to practice a lot more now.
yeah, 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 yeah. You just got to rinse and repeat, mate. Figure it out, rinse and repeat. I mean, it looks like low taken here by this. Obviously, this is takes this low here. This wick pulls back up to it, possibly into an imbalance. So that's probably an entry there. Does the same here, low taken, comes back into the order block that does causes the break. Might have took that one. But you get the gist. Obviously, the order block that causes the sweep of liquidity or break of structure, I guess, is obviously the break of structure is taking a high. So same thing. But yeah, once you get, I mean, it's such a simple process. Obviously, I say it's simple because obviously I've been doing it a while, and I can write it up in 4 sentences, and it is overall it is easy, but that's because it makes sense to me, I guess. But it's everywhere. Like say this order block here breaks this low trend line here and a low, comes back up, mitigates the imbalance, breaks, and that'll be the entry there. So it's just everywhere, happening on all charts. But this is why as well, obviously, they always say just do one thing as well. If you're doing this, you don't need to worry about the Asian session. It could be an added confirmation if you want it to be. I mean, if you're looking for an entry, then and you decide you want it to be above or below an Asian session, it's fine. But just try and focus on one thing. So obviously we're on NZD USD at the minute. If this does its thing in the Monday, Tuesday, whatever, takes this trend line, I don't think it's the best trend line, but it's possibly a trend line. Or even if it takes this low, if it does that, I'd be looking for it to come back and fill an imbalance in here, and then wait for 1 minute, continue selling. Or it might.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
Sorry, go on, mate.
That's what I was gonna ask. When I said about looking at NU.
Right. Oh, was it you? Yeah. Someone asked about AU as well, I think. But yeah, obviously there's two. I mean, it is obviously heavily bearish. So if I was taking buys, I would be wanting to see a decent break to an upside. But we've got two. Once it takes this and possibly takes this low here, I'll just draw that on. I'd rather it take the low, I think.
Yeah, it's reacted out of a 5 second imbalance.
Yeah.
At the moment.
So I think once this, say it breaks it, once it breaks it, we've got two options. We break it, we come back up here, we get a 1 minute change of character and a continuation sell, or we come down, fill an imbalance in at the further leg to the left. We break to the upside, change of character, and a buy. But like I say, it'll either be from probably around here if it's the sell, and obviously it'll probably be maybe in here if it's the buy, so a bit higher up, but depending what's favored to the left. Well, it might come down into here and do it. But like I say, I am pretty bearish on it at the minute. But this is that is possibly a structure swing here as well, so could well get some in there. We're on the weekly, so it's probably massive, but yeah, in there, start the imbalance. So that's I'd mark me 415.1 box. So possibly target that. I think that's me. That's me guess right now. So yeah, I think we'll probably get a break of these lows and trend line, mitigate up in here, and then sell down to here. So that's what I'm more in favour of. So area to watch for this week, let's say take that trend line in that. We'll get marked up some imbalances. So we need to see what happens from here. Obviously, it might open and then take it, but at the minute, sort of like this sort of area is probably what I'd be sort of focusing on. Big, huge push. I'm assuming is that FOMC Friday. Yeah,
It was NFP this week, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. So we wait and see. Probably a set. Probably a. I mean, it's as I said, it's everywhere. We've got a low here. Somewhere in here, it takes that low, comes back up, mitigates it there by looks of it, sells off. Possibly a 1 minute break in there. So it is everywhere, guys. You just gotta keep marking it, keep doing it, keep journaling it, keep trading the eye. Um, yeah. Don't really know what else to look at. There's Bitcoin at the minute. See how this is doing. Obviously, this played out Friday. Same. Sure, it's exactly the same thing. Takes this low. So obviously this is the taking the low, and then obviously it changes to the upside. So a sweep rather than a continuation. Takes the low there, just fills an imbalance in this leg here. And then we break to the upside. You could possibly say it's here as well, I guess. To be, if it was being safe, it was there. So comes back, mitigates. Couple of you'd split risk, as I said, you'd have split risk again. Got two prominent areas. Low, mini low, internal low, I guess. And then obviously mitigates and goes and does its thing. Just shy of 40R, you know. Yeah.
Still
Hopefully,
blows my mind the accuracy of the entries you can get on this. It's ridiculous.
yeah, yeah, it is, mate. It's I think I've said it before. It almost feels a bit like illegal, do you know? I wonder if the banks know that they can do it this way. But yeah, show you the imbalance. Can't remember if it's a good one or not. But yeah. So I think when I posted this the other day, when I bar replayed this one, I went from this cluster here rather than the imbalance down here because obviously we've got a gap here. I don't really know how to deal with these gaps, I suppose, but I'm seeing a lot of this cluster being tapped into as well. It lines up with the imbalance in some way as well. This might not be an imbalance candle. It's a nice candle, but it's not mega impulsive, so neither's what above it. So yeah, so it tapped into something in this, I guess, what it was targeting. But yeah, it would have been a nice one. And as you can see, tags in would have. I mean, it'll just if it was a pending, I don't think it would have tagged me in. But 570. I think my 5% is 900, so it'd have been wouldn't have tagged me in on that, and me IC markets is 2000. So you'd have had to have market executed, but obviously when I post anything to the group, if it touches the entry box, that's the system. The system works. So obviously, if you find that it keeps touching your box, but it's not tagging you in on a pending, obviously it's an easy fix because you can just change the market execute. You would set an alert just above, set an alert say there, and then wait and watch it tag your entry or whatever. That'd be an
You say
easy
on the
solution.
fivers your spread's 900.
Yes, mate. Yeah.
Is that a raw account as well?
Well,
Or
it's funded, mate. So
do you not get a choice of standard or raw with funded? It's
no,
just,
mate. No, it's just a.
oh, okay.
Well, I mean, they didn't. I don't believe. I think.
Right. So that's half then what the IC markets is.
Yeah,
More
like I
than,
say, IT markets is 2000. I think in it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's the 5% is good, mate. Especially on that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is because I would because of that I wouldn't I don't really trade. If I see anything for Bitcoin, I always put it on my 5%ers because the spread is like under half, so
Yeah,
it
makes sense.
it is phenomenal. I do think I do think there was a couple of firms that was doing like raw spreads and standard spreads, not prop firms, but I think Alpha Capital was doing it in the beginning.
Okay. What are they
Uh,
like on Forex on the fivers? Is it pretty low as well?
Brilliant, mate. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Probably as good as the IC markets for the majority of it, if not better on some.
Okay.
Maybe slightly worse on a couple, but yeah, there was as from every firm that I've looked at, mate, there was spread wise, there was the best by a long way.
What feed do you use then when you're looking for trades for the fivers? Would you look at,
FXCM.
so you're looking at two different sets of feeds then?
No, everything's up. I know I have started adding IC market feeds to my thingy here for me
Oh,
FX
you look
pair.
at FXCM for when you're trading
Yes,
your
mate. Yeah,
IC market. All right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And it's close enough for you to be able to do those pendings.
Yes, mate. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So the what I found recently is with FXCM and feeds and at my IC markets account, the numbers are way off. So, but the candles are generally bang on. So obviously I'll line up. Obviously I mean, let's say obviously this is a 1 minute on whatever feed it is, Coinbase. Go back.
I've just moved all mine over to IC markets now.
Yeah. Well, what I've sort of found, mate, is on the FXCM feed, like I'm obviously really accurate and profitable. But the IC markets feeds, me trend lines and things are not always the same. So
Yeah,
I
right.
don't. So yeah. So I'm pretty much sticking with FXCM, and then I will go to me IC markets feed after I've seen something to get the numbers and the to make sure that the candle feeds are the same. But it's only taking me a couple of minutes. But I don't really. That's just me, mate. It's yeah, because I'm like it because I'll prefer perfect trend lines. There's the do obviously the candles do differ very slightly sometimes, but the entries are generally the candle that I'm looking for is generally there on show on both, so I'm
Fair enough.
fine for it. But
Yeah, so
yeah, if because the numbers are way out, I would just line up my entry on me MT5 with that there, you know. So yeah, just draw it, I'd level it from the bottom and say that candle if I'd have got in this one, you know,
yeah, fair
to
enough.
get it about right. So because obviously you can't go below the 1 minute on the MT5, but yeah, I'll just line it through, mate, if the numbers are out on FXCM and IC markets. Obviously,
Um,
there's little things to deal with, but I mean, I consider that sort of like a minute issue. The important part is that you can get the trade right, you know, and dealing with spreads and numbers
that'd
being.
be like a massive palaver for me.
Yeah, well, it's it's a little bit of a pain, but
That's why I just changed them all to I say all of them. I've thinned it right out. I've only got about four things I watch now anyway. But
yeah, yeah, nice.
I
It's
thought
not a bad idea, that, mate.
I
I
just
did,
thought now I'm only on IC markets. I'll just use their feed.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I had a quick gander on, like I say, I've got these feeds down here. I can't remember which one it was I was looking at, but I was I was looking on the 1 minute. I think I was looking for an entry, and it was way different. It might have been UCAD. The two on the 1 minute, both the FXCM and IC Markets feed was different, so I left the trade alone because it didn't look the same. Nothing really looked the same on the IC Markets feed, but it did on the FXCM. Yeah, one of them did anyway. It was different, so I left it. But so yeah, I'm just trying to stick to me FXCM, and then like I say, I'll get numbers off this.
Yeah.
My new issue, like I say, it's just a little bit annoying. Takes an extra few minutes to figure out, but the important thing is you get the trade. You can do the trade sort of right, and then these little issues are just easily iron out. Like I say, you could if spread was your issue, I'd just say market execute. You can set an alert and then watch it for
Yeah, well,
5,
that's
10
what I had
minutes.
been doing, just market executing, because everything I was looking at was my charts, broker, MT5, everything was so far out. It was
Yeah,
just too much of a headache.
yeah. Well, I think the feeds are obviously they do differ sometimes a little bit, but they're never like obviously they're never like miles and miles out. So I think if even if you had different feeds, like if me MT5 feed was different to this, even if I was watching Coinbase thing, as soon as it touched that box, I would still enter the trade off that anyway, and
Yeah,
because the IC markets would follow it at some point to a degree anyway. Otherwise, I think if they're too far out, they might take stop losses, but they will also lose TPs as well. Do you know? So
mm,
I don't think they like to differ too far because, like I say, they might. I think if they gain stuff, they'll lose stuff as well. So you
that's
know,
it.
so yeah, they'll always be fairly close. So, but I mean, as long as you're doing the same thing from start to finish, it don't really matter, I guess.
There are bots that trade across the feeds. If the feeds
Yeah,
get too far out of whack, then you can buy on one, sell on the
yeah,
other, and take a profit. So that this arbitrage.
yeah,
So those bots that do that flatten that out.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, the feeds will never be like mega difference
Yeah,
because
there might be different. They'll always be the same shape. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah,
matters.
yeah. Your highs will be roughly the same, and
Yeah,
yeah,
I find US 30s like that, like the Dow.
yeah,
But it's always like you say, it's always the same shape.
yeah,
It does it at a different level.
yeah. Like I said, the numbers are way out
Yeah,
on it for me, the Dow. But yeah,
yeah,
like
me too. It's like it's miles out from IC.
yeah. Well, that's why I was saying, mate, is I'll do my analysis on it. The numbers can be at the. I mean, it could be the
Yeah,
alphabet for all I care. But if I'd found an entry and I was marking this sort of candle here, let's say
yeah,
that was me, I'd go and find that on the MT5 rather than worrying about the numbers.
yeah.
Like I say, it's just a minor inconvenience. Like it's an easy fix, you know. So, but yeah, miles out. Um, is there anything anyone would like me to go over, guys? Sort of running out of stuff to blabber on about.
I was looking at AJ before you're live. I was looking at a buy. See what you think. From yeah, so from the big green push at the bottom. Where would it be? You want a trend? Yeah, so that's a trend line. Where your
Yeah,
trend line is at the bottom.
yeah.
The last touch.
Mhm.
There's an imbalance. Obviously causes a breaker structure to the upside.
Yeah,
So I was looking at eyeing up a buy from the bottom of that leg where the trend line is.
yeah,
It should take the trend line and tap into an imbalance.
yeah,
And then obviously a 1 minute change of character.
yeah. So what
Um,
you're thinking it'll do that basically, and then buy up.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Good do, mate.
So
Obviously,
just keep an eye on that.
yeah, yeah,
A few targets above.
yeah. Um, yeah, I think I was looking at it for a sell the other day or week.
Yeah, I think George took a sell. Did he? Mid start of the week.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, obviously, this is, I mean, I should have spotted it really, but obviously, we've got a low here. I'll draw a line. It's the same setup as I marked up first off. Order block takes the low. It's low here. Comes back up, mitigates that imbalance in that order block. I don't know if it's 1 minute change of character or not.
Yeah, I couldn't find his entry to be honest. I didn't look back at his markup. I just went off what day it was, sort of thing, and I couldn't
Yeah,
find his
well, it's
entry.
there. So break structure here. Yeah, change of character or break structure, whatever you want to call it. I don't think it comes back up high for an entry, but obviously I think I marked this. I think I was actually trying to take this, but it didn't come high enough. So look, it's pretty obvious there, doesn't it, as well? Obviously, it's tapped in. Black line is obviously the high as it breaks, comes back up and mitigates. So it's filled this. That's the entry, the right one. Fuck knows what I marked here.
Right, yeah, because that's the bit that actually caused the change of character, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think that's the bit I was looking for.
yeah. So I can't remember if I said this was change of character or not, but off it's lower. But yeah, it's that would have been that's the entry, I guess. That one there. It's diabolical on the 5, but this is what I mean by about that. As I obviously said earlier that the 10's sort of about my favourite. Nice, it looks clear on the 10. Shite on the 15-ish. Shit on the 5. But yeah, 10's about as clear as you'll sort of see it. But yeah, that's the that was the one. So I was up here, so uh, goes and does its thing. It's a decent trend line sweep up there. Yeah, obviously I think at the I mean I don't know about buys or out yet, but obviously if it plays out, I'll take a buy. But
Yeah, I'll
I'd
see how it
like to
plays out.
I'd like to take a look. I'll take a deep look in here over the next few days, mate. And I mean, if there's a couple of nice imbalances, I'd like it to come down here, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's actually where I was.
Yeah,
Rather than yeah, it was there. Yeah, yeah, it was into that section.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a bit keen to see if we've got any. I don't know if I feel like this is too steep to be a relevant target at the minute. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like everything's in a bit of a mid-range at the minute, so we'll see. Obviously, we're sort of about halfway to here. So that obviously, if it comes down here, then obviously it's buys. But structure-wise, it's a bit difficult at the minute, especially with not being really been many pullbacks in this as well. I'm sort of like mid-range of the mid-range. So, but obviously, current price is bearish, I think. Dare I say it? Possibly that. Possibly that, but that's guesswork, I suppose. That's irrelevant. But yeah, if there's nothing else, guys, I'll call it there.
Cheers, Lee.
I'll try and be a bit more proactive this week and post some charts and stuff. I was a bit dead to the world last week, but
There's plenty. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, bud.
cheers,
one.
guys. Any questions, guys? Just lob them my way in the group, and I'll answer what I can when I can.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Thank you,
guys.
Lee.
See you
Bye-bye.
later.
Take it
Bye bye.
easy.